Angine de Poitrine, round 2. Let's see if we can learn a little bit more about them. All we know is that aliens have landed. And I believe they're French-Canadian. And microtonal. Or not. Let's just say A. Regular old A. And 4/4. I could see his eyes there. Tension is building. Oh, we're getting there. Alright, pause before they get too crazy with it. I love the last song, how they would build into this really cool, like, you know, looping in layers, and eventually you're just like, what am I hearing? If you were to start it in the middle of the song like there, you'd just be like, ah! But since they build up to it, you can really latch onto a lot of stuff. And what I like about this, it's kind of it reminds me of Tool, where it's not necessarily like a crazy time signature, but it is, the rhythms are 1, 2, dun, 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 dun. So a dotted eighth note, if you will, which, you know, you got your eighth notes and your 16th notes. So let's go quarter notes, and then eighth notes are here. And if you put a dot, you add half the length. So it's da, da, da. So it's this 1E and a 2E and a 1E and a 2E and a 1E and a 2. The last thing I want to say is I like that he has blankets on his drums. It makes it muted, a much deader sound, and he might even have his snares turned off. On the drum you can clip, and the snares, you know, they pull, the tension pulls, so then you get your classic ka, and then if you undo them, boo, you get your classic boo, right? Because there's no snares, and that's what makes a snare drum, is the snares.
If you want to turn the snares off and on, it's this little switch here. Pull it in, snare sounds like this. Take it off, sounds like that.
He's following those dotted eights. This is kind of Tool. It's a Tool rhythm, I feel like. Solos coming. So they double timed the drums and they added bass right there, and it actually had like a Soundgarden vibe to me, like older Soundgarden. What is interesting is before it's right? It kind of feels like it's going to get into that groove, which is a 6/8 feel or a 12/8 feel, whatever you want to call it, a triple meter, but then it's the here. I'll play it on the guitar too, because I think right, it sounds like it's gonna go right, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1, but it doesn't. It's next note, it's like a half step or even maybe a quarter step up from that note. Is there a better way to play that? Something like that, right? Okay, but then when the drums come into the double time, now there's no confusion. It's down, 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 down. Really, the harmony's A, maybe A minor, maybe A dominant 7. It doesn't. I just hear that kind of vibe, which could be. And the bass maybe is doing some thirds. The third of the chord is what tells you what key you're in, whether it's major or minor. This, you could probably do both. So I expect the solo to be like this stuff. But then also like, okay, of course what I expect is all from my blues experience, but we'll see what he's gonna do. It's gonna be crazy. Come on. Major, close to major. Which would be like a Phrygian dominant. Except for he's playing like, it's like, it's in between that, but that's what I'm picking out. I can only pick out what I can pick out. I think I just figured it out. They play this crazy music that would be normally, you know, math rock, if you will, metal, like math metal. Is that a thing? I've never heard that term, but it's math rock, right? And they do these crazy time signatures and these really like complex, like nerdy, like usually it would be an arrogant, like fusion jazz guitarist playing these. But they do not take themselves seriously. As soon as he did the eruption, but crazy, I was like, oh, I get it now. It's not trying to be pretentious at all. Or I guess pretentious you don't try, but it's not pretentious. It's totally fun, and like, if you didn't know any better, which I don't, it just sounds like the whole solo's out of tune. In fact, there was like 1 or 2 notes he played that were in tune, and when I say in tune, I mean within these 12 notes. You did some chromatic stuff. What do you call it? Is it called chromatic when there's that many notes? It's pretty wild, man. Yeah, there was a chromatic thing, there was the tappy thing, there was this thing, but it could have even been. So here, in tune, or the same note, unison we call it. Then you go down a half step, and that's called a minor second. And then what would it be called in between? The 12 notes that we normally use here in Western culture, it goes unison, minor second, major second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, tritone, fifth, or perfect fifth, minor 6, major 6, minor 7, major 7, and then octave. And then you could go minor 9, you could double, you could keep going. But let's see what they do here. So equal division of the octave, EDO, equal division of the octave, names. Quarter tone notation. Okay. Yeah, okay, so semitone, half step, another word for half step is semitone. So quarter tone would be quarter step, right? Oh yeah, in between each of these half steps in our common Western tuning, which is called 12-tone equal temperament, meaning there's 12 tones and they're all equally spread. What you do to measure in between is cents. So between each half step is 100 cents. So there's 100 variations, at least how we calculate it, in between there. Semitone is 100 cents. Yeah, so quarter tone is 50 cents. So I could bust out the tuner, I can get right on with it, but I just want to know if there's names for these. Called various names, half sharps and half flats, or coda. Expect the perfect intervals to be similarly named, half diminished fourth, half diminished fifth. I've had a slight interest in microtonal music for a while now, but never had an instrument that could do it properly, nor have I listened to enough music to know like what to do. Like, I'm sure that there are microtonal songs out there in different cultures that maybe follow these rules, but maybe they don't. Maybe this guy, and I gotta get these guys' names, but maybe they're making up their own microtonal harmony. And by harmony I mean the way the notes move around. A lot of people, when I say harmony, they think like vocal harmony. I'm like, no, harmony just means the way the notes move around, the movement. KHN, Angine de Poitrine, and the other guy's KEXP de Poitrine. Okay, there was a note where he stopped for a second so we could actually find the pitch. Also, if you listen to enough pop music and like just at this point, pop music just means blues, country, everything besides like jazz, right? Because jazz can get a little wild to the ear, but they're usually not microtonal, although maybe they are. I don't know enough about jazz. However, even like blues, rock, country, the stuff I listen to, that's pop compared to this. And also it depends on the era, right? Nowadays, all that stuff is kind of homogenized. This is like so refreshing to listen to because of that. It seriously is. I said it before and I'll say it again. It's scratching that itch that I didn't even know I had. It's like drinking water and I didn't even know I was thirsty. It's like eating a piece of nutritious, delicious broccoli for the first time. Let's find this note. So here's the note that it should be, right? Which would be the flat 7 of the key that we're in, which is A. And we're in A. He's in a real A, I think. I don't know. Yeah. So now I'm going to watch his hand to see. It looks like maybe they're not all 24 notes. Nope, they are. They're all equally distant equally divided octaves. I think it was EDO. I forget, but it looks like they're even. I thought maybe they weren't. Like the bass looks weird. Like they get really small and then they get big up here. I don't know what's going on with that. Oh, it does on the guitar too. So I don't know what's going on up there. Maybe up high it looks like it's just 12-tone equal temperament, right? So it's like gets so small the frets can't possibly get any smaller or closer together, so then the rest of the neck is just regular. Boy, I want one. I want to know. If I just get this guitar, I could learn this a lot easier, but not easy. Okay, let's listen to this phrase. This is going to be this is the part, this is where I put my money where my mouth is. So it's a quarter step below that. In fact, let me get the tuner out so we can get this right. So it's... And then he skips a fret. Let's back it up. You can see he has a... Here we go. Yeah, so he goes... Boy howdy, my ear does not work that way, dude. I've been listening to 12 notes, evenly spaced, for a long time. Let's leave it at that, and let's listen to the rest of this song. I want to learn this whole riff, though. Dude, you know what really saves him or locks him in? I love the little triangle on his, literally on his head for a hat, and also on his hi-hat. I'll show it later, but the drummer's not doing anything crazy. Like if a drummer was watching this, well, I could be wrong, but they would probably be like, oh yeah, I know everything. I could do everything he's doing, or at least I could tell you everything he's doing, right? He's obviously very good. But the guitar player, I'm sitting here watching, like I couldn't even, I just spent like 10 minutes trying to figure out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes, right? So the drummer's locking it down, holding them down, and then he's going off doing crazy stuff, but he's repeating stuff, so it's like a trance, right? The more you hear something, the more catchy it is, or like to me this is catchy. People would not describe this as catchy probably, but the looping aspect of it catches me, and it makes you go into a trance. It's like why the Grateful Dead were so famous. They'd play like 20 minutes of one chord or one chord progression over and over and over, and eventually you're in the crowd and you're just like, you're used to hearing it, you don't want it to stop, you get entranced, right? It's really cool, you get engrossed. This is engrossment. Also, I can tell that Kun is very good at guitar. I bet he can play traditional stuff pretty good. I mean, I would be willing to put some money down on that. Bum, bum, bum. I thought they were gonna start triple metering it. Take me to your leader, am I right? Whereas that first solo was calculated and repeating, and you could probably chart it out, you could probably write sheet music for it. The last solo was classic guitar chaos. right? There's no notes there. Even some of... I want that guitar.